Almost all of us play prize picks for major sports like NFL, NBA, and even MLB. But those of you that don't know, there is a ton of money to be made playing esports, especially during the dog days of summer when that's almost all we have to bet on. And just like those major sports, there's actually a way to gain an edge against prize picks and set yourself up for success. There's a few things I'm going to teach you in this video about betting esports on prize picks, and the first one is going to be about line comparing esports plays across DFS apps, comparing it back to prize picks, and show you where you can get an edge on individual plays. But also, we'll be talking about correlation and how that can really help boost how much you make playing esports on PrizePicks. So let's jump right into it. How to line compare to find an individual edge on a specific esports play. Well, I use this website called Daily Grind Fantasy like I do for all my bets, whether it's major sports or esports, to help me compare sportsbooks lines and odds, or in this case, DFS lines and odds, directly back to PrizePicks to find the best possible value. We are trying to find where PrizePicks has made a mistake and is off from the rest of the market. Well, we can see at this very top play, Mary is listed on PrizePicks at 14 maps 1 and 2 headshots. Well, if we look at the entire market, which is in this case only 2 different DFS apps, but they both agree this should be set to 15.5 headshots. So PrizePicks is off from the establishing market by about 1.5 headshots in this example. And so based off these discrepancies and the math being done on the back end of Daily Grind Fantasy, this play actually has about a 54.48% chance to hit on PrizePicks. So take the over at the less aggressive line of 14 on PrizePicks to gain an edge. As always, the more data points, the better. If we had 3 or 4 different DFS apps all agreeing that that play should be at 15.5 and PrizePicks was still at 14, it'd give us even more confidence that PrizePicks is certainly off when all of those other different DFS apps that set their own lines and odds independently all agree that it should be at 15.5. Now you can do this with any esport on PrizePicks, whether it's Call of Duty, League of Legends, Valorant, or CS2. And ideally, if you're putting in some individual esports into your plays and you're mixing it with either MLB, WNBA during the summertime, or even NFL when that's in season, make sure you guys are playing plays that are above a 54.2% chance to hit, as that's the hit rate you need on your individual legs when playing the most profitable slip types on PrizePicks, which are 5 and 6 man flexes. And sometimes you'll find plays just like this. In this instance, this is a Valorant play, and Vince is listed at 27 kills on PrizePicks, but on Underdog, another different DFS app, is at 25.5. How do we know which DFS app is setting this line the sharpest? We don't. So one way you could attack a bet like this is by actually taking both outcomes. You could take the under of 27 on PrizePicks and the over of 25.5 on Underdog, and if he lands at 26 or 27, you are actually going to win both bets. This is called middle betting, but really only useful if you are taking a bet where there is only 2 data points and they are very much far off from each other like this, where you're giving yourself a percentage chance to hit both bets if it lands in the middle. However, if we had Hot Streak here and they were listed at 25.5 kills, then it would be very, very clear that PrizePicks is off here when the establishing market is at 25.5. So just take the under on PrizePicks. Don't try to get fancy and middle bet it, because the data is telling us that these 2 apps that agree are the establishing market. So PrizePicks is off. Guys, it's really that simple to line compare these esports plays using a tool like Daily Grind Fantasy to set yourself up to profit long-term playing esports. Now let's take it a step further and talk about correlation. If you guys don't know what correlation is, it's where if X happens, Y and Z are also likely to happen, or in this case, if X happens, Y is also likely to happen, and this isn't going to come in 5 and 6 man flexes. For correlation on PrizePicks, in order to dodge some payout shifts, you're going to need to focus on the 4-man 10x power slip type. Yeah, I really don't know why, but PrizePicks typically doesn't care if you have correlation in a 4-man power slip type. However, if you had that same correlation in a 5 or 6 man flex, they're going to payout shift you. It's really important that you do not place a slip that gives you a payout shift. Our edge is playing correlation on PrizePicks because they are not penalizing us or giving us a lesser payout for having positive correlation. Correlation in the NFL is probably the easiest and most basic correlation there is, so let's go ahead and give you an example. If Patrick Mahomes is going to go over his passing yards line, it's likely that 2 of his top receivers, Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce, are going to be going over their receiving yards lines as well. And vice versa. If Patrick Mahomes is going under pass yards, it's likely that his 2 top pass catchers are going to be going under their receiving yards projections. Or like in the NHL, goalie saves is very heavily correlated with overs on shots on goal for the opposing team. The more shots on goal, the more opportunities at saves that goalie has. Now, even if you know nothing about esports, you can still line compare and find an edge that way. But I'm going to help you right now if you don't know about esports and let you in on a little secret called correlation and what correlation looks like in a few of these. Both CS2 and Valorant are round-based game modes, so the correlation you want to get in your slips are very much the same. For correlation, you want to find 2 players in the same game on opposing teams and either take both of their overs or both of their unders. If you take their overs, you are rooting on a close match. And a close match would mean that there are more rounds in this match, which more rounds equal more opportunities for kills. If you're taking both of their unders, you are rooting on these games to be blowouts. The less rounds, the less opportunities for kills, meaning the less opportunities these guys have to go over their kill projections. Correlation in League of Legends is very much different than CS2 and Valorant, but there's a few ways you can also go about correlation here. First, you can take a player's over, and then in the same game on the opposing team, you could take a player's under. Or you can actually take 2 players over on the same team, or 2 players under on the same team, and those are also very correlated. Those are probably the 3 main esports that you can really correlate and that most people focus on. So if you can find any of these combinations and get them into 4-man powers with maybe a couple other plus EV plays from the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, with other sports involved, whether it's WNBA or MLB, then you're not getting a payout shift, then you're in good shape and you have a heavily correlated slip. So let's say we wanted to build out a correlated slip using a couple Valorant plays. Well, we see that we want to take the under on Vince, and then we could maybe middle it by playing it on underdog, as I mentioned before, but we see that PrizePicks is pretty aggressive on this line when comparing to just underdog, so we know we'll start out by taking his under. So we need to find another player that he is going up against and take their under as well. Well, after doing a little bit of research, this guy Comeback is also 1.5 kills off underdog, and we're to take the under on PrizePicks here because he is that 1.5 kills higher. So I went ahead and put them 2 into a slip, and as you can see, we are not getting a payout shift here in a 2-man. We are still getting a 3x payout. But let's go ahead and find 2 other plus EV plays and get them into this slip. And here we have Tariq Skubal, and then Amador that we can get in from the MLB plays off the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So let's go ahead and snag Skubal real quick. We'll change this to 6.5 strikeouts. We'll be taking his over, and then we'll also be taking Amador, I believe. Yes, here it is. Under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. And as you can see, we are not getting a payout shift for a 4-man power. We are still getting a 10x payout. So we'll go ahead and submit this lineup, and we feel confident that we know we are getting an edge getting in this correlation by taking those 2 players on the opposing teams in the same game unders together. Even something like headshots in CS2 are correlated, but don't get me wrong. Regular kills is more correlated than headshots, but I just want to show you that there are ways to get creative. That way you can dodge a payout shift. This is a super profitable strategy that people are taking advantage of all year long, not just during those summer months. This guy Will said he hit 5 straight days, hitting a 10x slip on PrizePicks, riding a heater of League of Legends correlation, plus hammering plus EV plays from Daily Grind Fantasy's optimizers. And as you guys can see, he's gotten a little creative with his correlation for League of Legends. He has taken a combo prop that has 2 guys on the same team to go over against a guy on the opposing team under kills. So it is very heavily correlated. He did this for basically all of these slips here, and then this slip was just straight up plus EV plays from Daily Grind Fantasy where he hit for a 10x payout as well. So if you guys want to be like Will or myself and find these correlated plays and plus EV plays that are going to set you up to be profitable over the long term playing PrizePicks, you guys need to get on the tool Daily Grind Fantasy. I'll leave a link down in the description below, but if you use my code DustinDGF43, you'll get 25% off your very first month. Please, please, please take advantage of the correlation on PrizePicks that I am talking about. Guys, PrizePicks is a set payout platform that typically doesn't change your payout whether you take over or under on these specific player props, and they allow you to have some positive correlation without changing the payout in these 4-man power slip types. So I promise there is a huge edge in doing this. If you tried to do this on FanDuel or DraftKings, you are going to see that your payout gets absolutely nuked. They do not want to pay you out a good payout when you have positive correlation. That's because they're not stupid. They know that when you play these plays together, it is likely that the entire slip hits. And now I'm not saying that PrizePicks is stupid and doesn't know this, but for whatever reason, they allow it, so take advantage of it. I really hope you guys utilize line comparing and correlation when betting esports on PrizePicks this summer to make a ton of money. But that is going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed and or learned something, make sure you leave a like, and don't forget the subscribe button on the way out as we post sports betting content like this every single week.